Hi there. Eric here, coming to you from the warm and windy Gulf Coast of Florida. I have just finished flying one of my, or actually my only design for an RC airplane, as I'm very new to the hobby. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because it's a modification, heavily modified VersaWing. And it flew really well, and so I figured it'd be a good time to share it. As just a little bit of an introduction, like I said, I'm really new to the hobby. I don't know anyone else in the hobby, and I just got started. I had to learn everything online almost by myself, and I gotta say, flight test was instrumental in getting me past all the obstacles that I came across, and really just instrumental on every step of the way. I'm so thankful from you guys. You guys are awesome, and keep the faith. It's just great what you guys are doing. So keep going. But back to the mod. I like to call this mod the Wyvern mod because it's got these little horn things that kind of reminded me of a dragon on the top of the plane, and uh, I think it flew very well. So what I'm going to do right now is give you a quick tour of the plane and kind of go over all of the bits and pieces of it, and then I'll show you a video of it flying, and hopefully it'll inspire you to do something similar or even something greater. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this is the Wyvern. It is a highly modified Versa wing. I'll take you from the back to the front as far as the electronics and parts go. This is an 8x6 pusher prop held on with a prop saver on a 1650 kV outrunner. The motor mount is made of balsa wood, a bunch of pieces that I glued together because it's all I had. And it's based off of the design Flight Test provides. And I think they have this available for I think $4 or $5 on their store, which is really well worth it. I would definitely check it out because this took a lot more time than I wanted, and I'd rather just pay the $4 and some shipping. This is a 30 amp ESC, and inside I use this rubber band. This is a later modification I had to it, but I just put these little horns on, which even more compounds the idea of Wyvern, which I think is kind of a dragon mythical beast of some kind. I originally got it from these little protrusions, which are related to the landing gear on the underside. But I figured a better way to keep this stuff on was to just put these little things on here and use a rubber band to keep this flap down. I'm going to cover the top here because it's got my phone number, and I'm putting this on YouTube. So, don't look here. Anyway, there is, as you can see, a lot of foam in here. That's both for rigidity and just to keep the batteries in place. That was a later modification. It used to be just some Velcro sitting on top of foam board, which did fairly well, but the foam pieces make it a lot better. I've cut some grooves into the foam so I can run all of the servo wiring just in one direction all the way to the receiver. Let's go towards the front. I cut a little hole in the top so that the antenna can poke out upwards the right way. And you can probably see that there's a lot of repair work that's gone on this. A lot of packing tape, a lot of popsicle stick reinforcement, which just it was crazy amount of reinforcement. What I did find is wherever you don't reinforce is where the new damage goes. So I originally broke the front of this a little bit, kind of smashed it upwards, and it kind of bent in. And that wasn't so bad, but I fixed it and reinforced it, and I thought that was a good idea, but I only reinforced it to about here, which means that the next crash, it just made this part fold, which was less desirable than having up front here, because I can easily replace this entire front part, because about right here, all the way across, there's a spar for this part, and about right here, all the way across, there's a spar to keep the form and to keep everything just in good shape. This spar also matches up with the default spar endpoint for the wing, for the Versa wing design. So I highly recommend that if you do something like this, you keep that in mind to do the same thing, because I believe it's helped out quite a bit. Now let's flip it over and look at the underside. This is my beautiful workstation that I made of computer towers, because I'm a techie. And you can see this really weird yellow tape. This is not extreme packing tape. This is, I think it's tape that you use for repairing drywall. And it's not very sticky, but it's really strong. So what I did is I just doubled up on some packing tape on the bottom and then on each side. And it seems to be working well too. And I also used that along the edges. So that worked out well. The servo for the nose gear steering is recessed a little bit, but not all the way through the foam board. And then I just poked a hole through here. And you can see I cut a hole in the bottom of this piece of foam board so that the spar on the inside of the center spot could be secured a little better. And I used hot glue there. There is a skirt that protects the landing gear in the front, which actually it's proven to be very effective, and it's taken a lot of hits, and I've had to repair it multiple times. The landing gear itself, I bought some parts for, so you can buy this entire assembly for not much at all. But the rest of it, as you can see, is just popsicle sticks, hot glue, and these screws are actually screws that you would find in a computer case. These are general computer screws, so they're real easy to find, real easy to replace, and it's really just 4 pieces of cut to fit popsicle sticks. So it's one piece, and then this, I guess you'd call it a strut, and then another piece, and this piece right here is just to keep the form so that the screw can go all the way through this way. And so these pieces right here go all the way through the plane to the underside, or the top of it actually. These longer bits right here were originally just one piece, but after one of the crashes, which you'll see in one of the later videos, or this video possibly, they broke right here, which is actually a good thing. I changed where the weak points are on this plane now, but it used to be right here, and it's exactly what I wanted, and it worked out well. These, although you see a lot of glue here, there's actually a divot kind of cut out from the foam board so that it fits more flush, and it's not pushing against glue, it's pushing against the foam board, and the glue is just holding it in place. And I also added a smaller piece right here because after the last crash, this part was kind of pulling up a bit, and I thought it'd be good to reinforce that just a tad bit more. This control rod right here is actually actually all the control rods that I use are marker flags, and I just bent it to shape so that it would fit the nose gear. The same goes for the other landing gear. You can see well, this isn't the same wire, but I use the same popsicle stick method. I cut a hole in the popsicle stick, and I kind of weaseled its way through, and then I turned it around, and I cut another divot here, and then glued those in, and those are actually held remarkably. It's worked out really well. What I did have to do for this, to get this is not just screwed into foam board. That didn't work at all. What's actually happening is I took a popsicle stick, and I fed it through the wing after I drilled a hole in it. And I drilled the hole, I put the screw through, and then twisted it on to the popsicle stick. Then I cut the popsicle stick, twisted the screw a little bit more, which rotated the popsicle stick in, and lined it up perfectly with the next hole, and then I screwed those in. And that worked well. Yeah, they've held up a lot better than I expected. You can also see that one of the changes that was made was to the size of the vertical stabilizers. They're about twice as large. And what I did was I took the widest point and I used that as a center point and made it, just equally tall on each side. And I'm trying to get a good image here, but it's kind of dark. This is actually shaved down with a sandpaper to be more of a blade than it was just a flat piece of foam board. And I thought that would cut through the air a little bit better and maybe provide some cleaner stabilization and less drag. And I have no idea if that's working or not. It flew okay to me. Just like what is recommended in the VersaWing build video. I'm using coffee stirrers, and this is also a marker flag pole that I just cut to size, and they're really nice. They fit perfectly in these clevises, and I think that's it. I would note that if you're going to add a center section like this, be very careful adding it when, or at least be very careful when planning, because I built this center section. This is 7 inches wide, and I believe this is about 8 inches, maybe more, from what would have been the nose farther out, and the nose gear is about halfway through there. And so, excuse me, it's late, but it's actually not perfectly flat. If you look at it dead on, and it's kind of hard to see like this, it's actually warped a little bit. This end and this end are higher than this end and this end, which kind of gives it this warped kind of feel, and it makes this wing point up a bit and this wing point down a bit, which gives it a natural roll. I realized this when I first had the wing built before I flew it, and I programmed, did some sub trim, and I even added some trim just for the heck of it, and it turned out that I guessed right, and I didn't have any problems with rolls, with any natural roll. I did have problems, excuse me, with the vertical sensitivity, and so I did dial in some expos and dual rates to kind of compensate for that, and it seems to have flown well. You'll see for yourself later on when I show the videos of me flying. One more thing I'd like to add is the pre-installed servos. Perfect idea, really clean idea, except that I didn't know what servo centering was, and so I'm like, oh, servo centering, yeah, okay, but put the control horn in the center of the servo, yeah, that makes sense. And that's not really what it was. I didn't realize that there were middle points that are pre-programmed in, and that when I turned these on, it was all haywire, and I had to actually cut open the wing, and you can see I have all the cuts in here, and do some wing surgery, and it wasn't a lot of fun, but I was real careful with my cuts, and I cut it at an angle so I could place it down, and I wouldn't have to worry about some offset piece. And it worked fine. Yeah. I'm a little annoyed that I had to do that, and I didn't think about it ahead of time, but this is my first plane, so cutting myself some slack on that. I'm also using let me just put this, I'm looking at the ground for a second, sorry. I'm using a Fly Sky It is a FST6, and I really like this this controller, this transmitter. It seemed like this is my first ever transmitter, so I didn't really have anything to compare it against, but it seemed like there was a lot of options. I had whatever I needed to do for my expos, and it was fairly easy to program. I had it for the most part set right up before I even took off. So if you're looking for something cheap, I think I got this for $60. And I bought it off of eBay, but it was about the same price as it'd normally be, and I got 2 extra receivers with it, so I could install all the hardware on 3 planes, and I would never have to pull it out to get stuff to work. And so that worked out really well. This is my battery case. I use a cash box. That is a Grand Theft Auto cash box. I got the game when it came out a long time ago. And a Lifeboat safe bag. And I've got... Sorry about the shaky camera. I didn't really plan to show the whole deal, but this is... Might as well get it out here. I've got 3 batteries. One of them is a Turnigy 100 milliamp hour 25C LiPo battery, and the other one is a 2200 20C LiPo battery. I had to resolder the connectors for this. This was like a JST connector or something, and I had to put a XT60 connector on there. I talked to a couple people at the hobby shop, and I just read a lot of forums, and I figured that I would go with the XT60s because people seem to be very happy with those. I also bought this on sale. I would normally have bought a better charger, but this I got for super cheap. And this is a Tenergy LiPo 1 4-cell balance charger. And I'd really recommend going with something a little bit better, like the AccuCell 6 or like the IMAX B6 or something like that. It works. It charges, I think, at a 1 amp rate, which is okay. I have time usually to wait, but I don't think it really always detects all of the cells, because when I charged the 22 milliamp batteries, it didn't recognize 2 of the 3 cells, and it left it at its standard voltage, or its standard storage voltage. So that's enough about the plane and my equipment. Let's watch some videos of the plane in the air.
Maiden voyage. Trying to get it off the ground and not crashing it. Is this the moment?
It's windy. I don't know Whoops.
And we're gonna try again. If anything, you can say you accomplished making a cool race car.
Yeah. It's so windy. It said it wasn't windy out earlier.
Weathermen lie, Eric.
Alright, wait for the wind.
What's a good thing?
Yeah. And I'm trying to take off away from the wind, so it's pushing me down. That's probably the smartest thing to do, but I don't want to run into the fence.
Where am I good to go?
Ready? And go.
That's something. You accomplished it. Not killing your wife would be a good thing.
How do you know when the battery's low?
It'll be.
Nice.
Alright,
beeping.
Yeah.
Nice landing. How much time do you have after it starts beeping?
Oh, it depends on what I set that voltage meter to. I probably have a long time to go.
Dog fight bird.
The birds attack a lot.
They do?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I probably wouldn't be able to outmaneuver it though.
You want to put a sea engine in it?
Yeah. That's what I called him. Like, hey, keep your truck up on the way.
Here we go. I got him. Right here. Sea engines.
Half throttle. That was a hard thing. If you're gonna turn it one of these days.
Yeah.
I want to ask what you can do with it, but I like specific things.
I can go really high.
But I don't want you to try it because you're gonna break it.
Yeah, do a loop-de-loop.
That's the first thing I did when I very first up in the air.
That was an accident, wasn't it?
It was an accident, yes.
It's like you had to do it. Like you couldn't,
Yeah, I had to do
couldn't
it.
not do it.
I'm wondering if there's any poorly placed trees here.
Yeah.
It's the tree's fault. How'd you build the wings again?
I got some plans online. I made
He's trying to kill his dad. And he's laughing. He's only laughing because he missed.
And that's why you use the popsicle sticks?
That's why I use the popsicle stick. But that was nose down, nothing.